All right, forgive me if you can hear some background noise because I have the windows open. It's a nice day here in Minnesota. So I wanted to talk about a new pad that I got, and this is the Wooting. I just have it centered on the desk for some reason, but the new pad's pretty big. So we got in the mail a Skypad, which is a glass pad. I normally like speed pads more than control pads or even just hybrid pads. Hybrid pads are pretty good for most things, but when it comes to what I prefer when I want my optimal experience, I'm going for a speed pad, and this is the ultimate speed pad here. The reason is because it's just a sheet of glass, and that's why it comes in this really hard, rigid, nice and large box, and it is quite literally a giant piece of frosted glass. I should get my measuring tape. Hold on, I'll be right back. All right, and if my auto white balance hasn't adjusted too crazy, we can now measure how big this thing is. This thing is about 16 inches or 40 centimeters by 20 inches or 50 centimeters. And that is a large pad. This is bigger than even my other largest pad that I have outside of the desk pads. And I think this is almost the size of like an Artisan XL. If I put a Artisan large pad, or the L pads as I normally see them listed, it probably takes about from here to here. It's definitely larger than that. And the reason I got this one is because it's a $10 difference right now between the two, between the normal XL Skypad and the L Skypad. So if I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get the big one. And I'll tell you, this thing is big, and most people are quite surprised when they see me pick this thing up from my desk because I see a giant white square and they think it's a normal mouse pad, and then I do this and I grab it from the sides and I push it off my desk, and it's just a big flat thing. So I'm gonna flip it over now so that you can see there are some feet on it, and they're pretty thin, and it sits pretty flush to the desk, so it's actually kind of hard to pick up. But I understand why they made it this low, because it means that when I put it, if I move my camera here all the way up to my desk's edge, just like that, it's my new desk clip, and I push it all the way to the edge. I don't want to push it past just in case I like hit the edge and I shatter it, although I have seen that these things are pretty durable. I know that's a question that some people are gonna have. This is the most comfortable way. If you put it and you get kind of a double edge, if I put it here and I'm feeling both edges, it gets kind of weird for me, and especially with a pad that's this tall, I really want it to sit right at that edge here, and I kind of just line it up. So the mice I've been using on this so far, because I just redid the unboxing for you guys. That's not a real unboxing. I've had this thing out for a while. The mice I've been using with it is the Rocket Jump Ninja MZ1, or I forget, Xtrfy MZ1. But this is the Rocket Jump Ninja mouse. This is a wireless mouse. It's not super light in terms of what some of the mice have already been testing. It's smaller than something like the G Pro X Superlight, but yeah, it's about the same weight, so it feels denser, even though they're about the same weight, but it's for a different video. The reason why I've been using this mouse instead of my normal Lamzu Atlantis is my Lamzu has the glass skates in it, and glass on glass sounds awful and feels awful, so you wouldn't want that. You want to go with something with plastic PTFE feet, or I've heard of a possible felt tipped mouse, and that might be good. On this pad, I don't think it's going to be that much smoother, but I've heard that it might be quieter. So with all that in perspective here, and you can see my camera has a hard time focusing on this thing, how have I actually liked the Skypad? I've really enjoyed it. Just plain and simple. I find this pad to be one of the most freeing experiences you can have on a mouse pad, just because it is so smooth and has so little resistance. There's almost no stopping power with it. You can press down into the pad and it just if you press down into the pad and try to stop it, it feels like max speed on something like a hybrid pad. It just has that much glide to it, and what that turns out to be is just a incredibly fluid aiming experience. And for some people, that's not going to be for them. And for high sense people, it's probably not going to be for you. And for really low sense people who play CS, it's probably not going to be for you either. And the reason because that is because without that stopping power, you're never going to hit those quick flicks and be able to stop on a dime just the same way you would on a hard pad. Like, I know some people are going to be like, yeah, I can do that, but hey, it's not going to be optimal. There's a reason a lot of people who play those games prefer a very light mouse with a very control centric pad, or even a hybrid pad, something like the Hein or the Zero or something like that. So I do have a Zero in the mail, by the way, coming here, and this was going to be second channel content, but now this is main channel Skypad content apparently. So anything else I want to say about this pad? Oh, I put on my sleeve here. I have a Skypad sleeve that I've had for a while that I use with my other pads, especially the pads that are more abrasive. But I am using it now on the Skypad, not just because this pad is abrasive in any way, but because it's an absolute necessity that you get some kind of spandex sleeve or cloth, or like a long arm sleeve. So if you're not using just the Skypad sleeve, I mean, if you can afford to spend this money on the pad, it's definitely worth getting the actual sleeve. I really like the one with the thumb, so it keeps up right where I need it on my hand, because this is super sensitive to humidity, changes in temperature, and this sleeve keeps it consistent the whole way through. So if you want the most consistent experience, the Skypad with the sleeve is unparalleled. You can just track and aim however you want with nothing holding you back at this point. It's wireless, it's great. The only thing that's holding you back is finding your endgame mouse and making sure that you have feet like this on it. No more glass skates, nothing else. Just the Tiger Ice skates, or even these are just the stock skates. I want to get the Tiger Ice dots to see if I can get that little bit of extra speed out of these wireless mice, and I can put those dots on any of my mice. Testing it with a few different stock skates. They've all been fine. They've all tracked just fine. So this is the Ninjutso Sora. This is the Pulsar X2. This one had worked just fine, but you really got to make sure your skates are clean. And then you can see this one has a little bit more of a scratchy sound to it. So I really I'll make sure these pads are clean. I'll like wipe them off with my finger. And you can see this one has a scratchier sound to it. So this one has been worn into this pad. This one has a scratchier sound, and it takes a second for it to kind of get smooth in the same way again, because those other pads I've been using them on aren't abrasive enough. So yeah, it's just what I've been using. Pads, mice with less skate on them do better. So a bad example of less skate would be this Superlight with the big front skate and the large back skate. Look at something like the MZ1, 2 back skates, a small front skate. This Ninjutso Sora, good skates for this. The Pulsar, somewhere in the middle. Making this front skate smaller would be good too. So yeah, anyways, we're gonna continue to use this thing. If I have any long-term reviews, I'm gonna put that out. This is already too long of a video, so I just want to end it here. I know it says 9 minutes on there, but I'm going to edit some parts out. But if you want to see anything else in the reviews, or know about any particular mice or anything about the Skypad, please do ask me in the comments. I'll be happy to answer your questions. Should also do a review of the Wooting. I love this keyboard, and I just never got to it as far as reviewing. So got a couple new things in the works, so stay subscribed. You can check my Twitter too. I've been posting more there and more frequently on there, cultivating that gaming Twitter. So anyways, that's it. Peace.